Alright, so episode 3 is simply called Mask. And no, this isn't the Jim Carrey movie by any stretch. This was an interesting episode and there's a lot to unpack here. So at the beginning of the episode, Rick's telling the story of a guy who had plans to rob him a couple years back. Rick knew the guy, had been to the shrine a couple times, and he caught wind that this guy was going to rob him on this certain day. So Rick tells this long, detailed story about it, and then some other stuff happens. I don't want to give too much away. And when I was editing, I actually left out some details that happened after the fact. The guy that was going to rob it ended up passing away, and his son, let me back up, the guy's mother brought the guy's son. Alright, so it's kind of confused. That's probably why I didn't put it in the series. The little boy of the guy who passed away, who was going to rob Rick, came down Rick's road one time and started running up and down the road, and I'm probably butchering the story, but he started running up and down the road and point to the shrine and this and that, and Rick came out and said, what's all the fuss? And the grandmother said that he wanted to look at some of the statues at the shrine or something to that effect, and he did. And Rick later found out that this was the little boy of the guy who was going to rob his thing. So that was kind of too complicated to put in the series, and I thought it was going to confuse people, hence why I left it out. So anyway, so that's an interesting story Rick tells in great detail. And then Josh and Shane show up, and Sean, Josh, and Shane end up having a round table at the house we had, and Sean's kind of giving them the lowdown on what's happening with the shrine, what Rick's done there, the different locations of the shrine, and they're asking questions because we're, about to go do some investigation with the entire team. So have a long sit down with that. A lot is talked about throughout that. Also throughout that, we cut to a very interesting story with a paranormal investigator kind of local to Tennessee, a guy named Jimmy Ricker, who was great, gave us a great interview, and he gave us some evidence of one time he was there, and it's crazy. I don't want to give it away. You're going to have to watch episode 3 and see what happened to Jimmy one time while he was investigating there, not with us, but at a separate time. So we all head back to the shrine. Shane and Josh meet Rick for the first time, and some other interview stuff, and then we do our big investigation at the Dragon Table the first night Shane and Josh are there. And to say that this didn't get intense is a severe understatement. What happened that night is crazy, because Josh ended up getting attached to this mask. Again, hence the name, The Mask, of the name of the episode. And while we were doing our Dragon Table investigation, he just would not put the mask down. And Sean was using an app on his phone called Spirit Talker, and this device was just saying random words and random phrases, and some of the stuff that it was saying, something to the effect of Satan wants you, and other things like that, while Josh was holding the mask, was pretty crazy. And it was kind of correlating with Josh not wanting to put the mask down, and talking about putting this mask, which had sigils written all on the back of it, putting it on his face. So everyone was telling him to put it down. Finally, fast forward, he puts it down. Shane grabs the mask, puts it in the coffin. Then a little bit later, we put EVP recorder into the coffin with the mask, ask a few questions outside, pull the recorder out, and actually get some voices coming back. And it's pretty mind-blowing what we get back as far as voices, something to the effect of "get him" or "let me out." And it's like, where are those voices coming from? We were all 100% quiet while we were recording those EVPs, and then you just get these voices recorded on this little device. So very interesting. You're just going to have to take a look at it for yourself. And then to kind of wrap up this episode, Rick talks about the Dragon Table, why they made it, how they made it, what it's made of, and just kind of gives a rundown of the purpose of the Dragon Table. So episode 3, like I said, a lot to unpack there. Great episode. Will keep you on the edge of your seat if you're into the paranormal and the weirdness and the creepiness type reality shows. So yeah, take a look at episode 3. Let us know what you think about it.